going on? You are listening to ThisWeekinGeek.net. I'm your solo host this week. I am Mike the Birdman, coming to you from the royal city of Guelph, Ontario, Canada. And well, this is week number 2, where Alex is not with me, but he is still recovering from being really sick with a tremendously nasty flu. Not gonna lie, I was a little worried about him for a little while, so much so I called my sister-in-law, Kara, who happens to be a nurse practitioner here in the province of Ontario, and thankfully it wasn't as bad as we thought it was, but Alex is still on the mend. He's finally getting some energy back, and he should be back on the show for next week. He has been working behind the scenes to get some stuff prepped for our annual holiday gift guide, because we got a lot of video games, so we have a lot to talk about. In fact, we are so far behind in certain things just because he's been sick, I've been sick, and we're trying to get things ready for our winter hiatus, which is going to be happening just after the Video Game Awards. That'll be coming up in just a few weeks, and our annual holiday gift guide, which goes live on December 12th. So it gives you just about 2 weeks to shop before Christmas time. And hopefully you will pick up much of what we recommend on the holiday gift guide. We got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about this year. In fact, some of the things you'll be hearing over the next few weeks will probably be inclusions in the holiday gift guide. If we review them on the show pretty much from here on out, we're going to probably say, hey, we recommend this as a holiday gift guide pick. I know a couple things I'll be talking about today I will definitely be reflecting and putting them into the holiday gift guide, because I was supposed to include some of this around Halloween, but October was just a bad month for us. But thankfully, like I said, we're back. And that does mean I have some other stuff to do later on today. But as always, you guys often like to find out what have I been doing. Well, if you've been following my social media, I am still doing stuff for the Guelph Storm Trackers. I've been involved with their social media since the beginning of the season. And I've had a really, really good time doing that. This week was really cool. We were watching a game against the Niagara Ice Dogs, and I actually sat beside somebody really cool. But the thing that happened on, I think it was the London Knights game. It was the London Knights game on this past Saturday, which was our annual Pink in the Rink, where we raise money to help raise money for cancer research and other groups in our local region. I sat beside a scout for the Minnesota Wild, and he was a really, really, really nice gentleman. We sat there and we chatted through almost the entirety of the game, and he gave me a really, really nice compliment. So, Damon, if you happen to be listening, thank you so very much, and thank you for telling me that I have an awesome radio voice and radio presence. It really does mean a lot to hear stuff like that, especially because it's nice to be recognized for not just talking about nerd shit, which is kind of fun. Like, I really don't want it to be on my tombstone. Reviewed Mario Party once. It would be nice to be known as a little bit more well-rounded. In addition to that, I've been doing a lot of writing. I'm actually, as of this recording, I'm marathoning a session to finish some stuff up for some of my freelance role-playing game stuff, where I'm working for Modifius, and I'm working on a project for them, and I'm doing some other stuff for Enrique Couto's Weekly Spookies. I'm doing a sequel to my Thanksgiving story, which I hopefully will be kind of fun. I'm going to try and bring home that real Christmas feeling. That's something just that warm and fuzzy stuff that I hope will be mixed with werewolves and vampires, all sorts of fun stuff that you've come to expect. As for what I've been doing otherwise, I went to go see Dragon Ball Daima in theater, or as I'm calling it, Dragon Babies Daima. I never did watch the original Dragon Ball, and I never did get into Dragon Ball GT. I gave it like 5 episodes, and I didn't much care for it. This one, I still need to catch up on it. I've watched the first 3 in theater. I think 4 and 5 are available on Crunchyroll, so I'm going to try catching up on those at some point. I've also just I kind of realized when I take vacation from the podcast, which feels like I've taken a lot this year, I'm finding Dragon Ball is sort of my comfort food. Like, I finally sat down for the first time and finally marathoned season 1 of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I got through the Saiyan saga, and now I'm into the Frieza stuff, and I've watched a couple of the movies. Wow, I really slept on this Team 4-Star stuff for a really long time. And then I don't play a lot of mobile games outside of Pokemon Go, but I decided to play the Pokemon, it's like the card game, but you're only really collecting. I think you can battle online, but I just haven't gotten that far. I'm just kind of collecting cards. And I started playing Dragon Ball Legends. That was really, really fun. I didn't expect it to eat up as much of my day as I did yesterday while I was like just like kind of farting around and doing like some like other kind of side projects. But yeah, so I've been playing a lot of mobile games. Didn't expect that. Still fun though. Still playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which if you can't tell, that's going into the gift guide by now. I don't know what to tell you, friend. But I'm finally starting to play DP battles, which is where like you pick like a combat value for your team. And I'm doing really well. I'm having a lot of people rage quit on me, which is, I think, kind of funny when you get your ass beat by Yamcha and Videl. So don't know what to tell you other than get good. That's okay. I'm probably going to peak at like high B rank, maybe low A rank, because I'm just not that good. But that's okay. Also started playing Baldur's Gate again, having a lot of fun with that. And still playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, where our campaign will be taking a brief hiatus for the winter time in just a few weeks. And I'm still doing my stuff down at the Dragon, which my guys are playing really fantastic. I make a lot of that game up on the go, but it all seems like I know what I'm doing. I mean, if you've listened to Terrible Warriors and before in the past, you know exactly how I game master. But no, I'm really, really proud of them. That's Jack, John, and Robert. Fantastic guys. I'm really looking forward to playing with them, hopefully later on. And yeah. So anyway, guys, I got a lot of stuff to talk about in this show. We're going to take a look at a video game that I was supposed to take a look at Halloween, but I think it's going to end up on my holiday gift guide because I was genuinely surprised how much fun that I had playing that. We also have a rather cool kitchen appliance, which again, if you get this and if you live in a college dorm or if you have a house full of people who enjoy frozen drinks, you are going to be the hit. You won't need to go down the Wendy's anymore. That's what I'm going to say. And then finally, we're going to take a look at a movie to a long-awaited franchise that came back after over 30 years. All you got to do is say his name 3 times and he shall appear. And we're going to give my thoughts on the 4K Ultra Blu-ray from that came from our friends over at Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. So we're going to take a small break here on This Week in Geek, and we're going to take a visit to our friends over at Ninja. And we're going to take a look at probably my favorite new appliance that isn't an air fryer. We'll be back, guys, right after this. Only on thisweekingeek.net.
I was so hot. I was frying. My throat was like a desert, like Death Valley. I wish I had something polar, cold, like North Pole. Whoa!
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to take a look at something we're going to be featuring on our holiday gift guide later on next month. But this is something that is most definitely going on. This surprised the ever-living hell out of me. I'm talking about the Ninja SLUSHi Professional Frozen Drink Maker. This is probably one of the coolest things I've ever had a chance to have in my home. One of the things I've got a weakness for is I love slushies. I love getting Slurpees, I love getting ice puppies, and all that sort of stuff that's probably not great for my waistline, but whatever. I love this stuff. I've always had a weakness for these things forever. So what the cool thing about this is you don't necessarily need ice. There's no blending. There's no hassles. Like, there are 5 simple settings for this. There's slush, spike slushy, frappe, milkshake, frozen juice, and you can like temperature control this stuff. Blair, my wife, has made for me a frozen juice so far that is just as good as a booster juice. She made me a slushie today, and that's just as good as 7-Eleven. That surprised the hell out of me, which means I'm not going to be spending a whole lot of money in these places because I can do this like at home. You can also customize how cold this is, how thick it is. One of the things we did today as a control was, can she make a Wendy's Frosty? We got it within 95% accuracy, and I'm 90% sure, I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, but I thinking we could probably get this up to 99% accuracy if we futz with the chocolate and the density settings on this. Like, it is so close. It's insane how good this thing is. Now, what's really nice about this too, it's really simple. It's really easy to fill up, to top off, and you can really get this thing cleaned up super quick. It creates slush pretty quickly, keeps drinks frozen for up to 12 hours. You just mix up your drink mixture into a jug. You can store it in your fridge, and then you can top it off if you happen to have people over for the holidays. I know for you Americans, considering Thanksgiving is coming up, this could be kind of nice to have for, you know, if you want a frozen drink, a frozen like SLUSHi, like a margarita or whatever. Again, possibilities are quite literally endless. Plus, guys, Christmas parties coming up in dorms. Now, we did do a little bit of research. You can buy a larger container for this thing as well, and it easily goes on, but you are going to have to take it apart to clean it, but it's super simple. Like, this could be like baby's first bartending thing. Like, it's kind of amazing just how easy it is to use this. Now, this is something is more for me as a treat because of the way freezing and slushifying things tends to work. You have to use stuff that is sugar-based. Sugar-free stuff, it's like a chemical process, and it doesn't work quite as well. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, because you need a percentage of sugar to bind things. Again, it's chemical stuff. I think it's called allulose, and it mimics sugar, so to speak. Again, it's like science. However, though, you cannot get this particular chemical in Canada that I'm aware of. Maybe at a specialty store, but I don't think so. But still, overall, for a family, this is awesome. For your dorm room, if you know you guys are throwing parties and you've got the time, yeah, you could do a lot of cool things with this. Honestly, I am so surprised how well this turns out. I can't wait to play around with like making root beer slushies, since I'm not supposed to have carbonated drinks as much anymore, if at all. I'm excited. I'm genuinely so hyped for the summer with this thing. It's insane. And finally, a little bit of a backstory. I wanted a slushie machine at my wedding. Yes, that was 2011, but finally I am vindicated in the year 2024. So Ninja, you have knocked it out of the proverbial park. It's like getting a wedding gift, just, 10 years late. But seriously, this is the Ninja SLUSHi Professional Frozen Drink Maker. You need to get this. Most definitely recommended in our holiday gift guide. Check it out.
You can mix your favorite soda pop and crank them out. You can make any flavor you want, anytime you want it.
The Prime Minister of Sweden visited Washington today, and my tiny little nipples went to France.
Gossip, rumors, panic in the streets. We're lucky.
This Week in Geek
News.
Hey guys, welcome back to thisweekingeek.net. That was me, because I'm so goddamn lonely. Anyway, it's now time to talk about the Nerd News Network, all the stuff that is fit to listen to right here on thisweekingeek.net. And well, we're going to kick things off with a story coming to us courtesy of comicbook.com, and it goes, Shadow the Hedgehog rumor claims live-action Paramount movie in consideration. This December, Shadow the Hedgehog will have a major role to play in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Paramount hasn't said anything about its plans beyond the third film, but producer Toby Asher recently teased that I don't see us slowing down at all. That means we can likely expect more films and spin-offs. While some fans might have expected that Shadow would get a streaming series like we saw with Knuckles, which I still haven't seen, maybe I'll watch that next month, it seems that Paramount is considering a spin-off movie instead. According to a report from Daniel Reichman, aka Daniel RPK on Twitter, this will largely depend on the success of Sonic 3. For Sonic fans, this is bound to be exciting news, but it's not all that surprising either. In Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Shadow is being voiced by Keanu Reeves. Since that announcement was made, it seems like a spin-off was likely, given the actor's mainstream appeal and box office draw. A full movie would make a lot of sense. Than a streaming series, the first two Sonic movies have had a box office total of more than $700 million combined. Shadow also happens to be one of the most popular characters in the franchise, and it's not a stretch to imagine the character supporting his own movie. For now, readers should take this rumor with a grain of salt. Rickman said tends to be a very reliable source, but plans could change, and a lot of this depends on how viable Paramount sees a Shadow spin-off. Sonic 3 is releasing on the same day as Mufasa, The Lion King, a movie that will also have a huge draw for families. In this holiday season, while two Sonic movies have been very successful, Mufasa is a prequel/sequel to the 2019 Lion King movie, which is currently the highest-grossing animated movie of all time, even though Disney considers it live action. Basically, there's no guarantee that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 will reach the same level of success as the first two, or that will get a spin-off. Sega characters like Tails and Knuckles have been favorites for decades, but they don't have quite the same amount of backstory that Shadow has, which makes him a more viable candidate for his own movie. In 2005, Shadow got a eponymous spin-off game, which also gave the character his own nemesis, Black Doom. Black Doom recently returned in Sonic X Shadow Generations and could serve as the primary antagonist in a Shadow movie. The movie could also be a perfect place to bring in Shadow's allies, such as Rouge the Bat and E123 Omega, allowing him to build his own cast and world. All this is just conjecture, but it would be a smart way for Paramount to bring more elements from the Sega games as they build their own Sonic universe. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I would love a Shadow movie, especially with Keanu Reeves. If I had a wish list for the Sonic movies, I want Mecha Sonic. In fact, it was actually kind of funny. I went to Walmart yesterday, and I always go through the toy aisles because I'm like a giant kid at heart. And I actually found Metal Sonic, an actual action figure that was based on his appearance in Sega CD. And I bought it. I mean, hey, for $15, who cares? But I loved it. And I've been resisting to picking up the Shadow and Knuckles and Sonic figures and Tails. Because I'm only trying to focus on Transformer stuff, but something made me want to get this. And I'm thinking, you know what, man? I've been putting this off for years, but at the same time, a Shadow movie could be honestly really friggin' cool and a lot better, I think, than a streaming series. I heard the Knuckles series was okay. It was better than what people thought it was going to be, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the budget of like a major like movie, you can only really go so far. So I don't know. I mean, I think it could be awesome. Again, has to have the right story, has to be really cool, but having like Rouge the Bat would be fantastic, especially if you got the right person in the role to voice Rouge. Big the Cat, I'd love to see, especially if my good buddy Kyle Bear could get in there and voice him too. I just think there's a lot of good possibilities there. So overall, yeah, I think Shadow, awesome. It could be fantastic. And hey, we'll have to see if Paramount wants to make more of that money, so to speak. This next story comes courtesy of ComingSoon.net, and this story reads as follows. Report, Daisy Ridley's Rey Skywalker to star in multiple new Star Wars movies. Daisy Ridley's Rey Skywalker is viewed as one of the most valuable cinematic assets in the Star Wars universe and could play a key role in several movies in the future, according to a new report. In a new report on the ongoing state of the Star Wars universe and what the future holds for movies, The Hollywood Reporter notes that there are a battle of sorts on where to place Rey. Insiders deny any such struggle, but the report does mention that there's a, quote, internal deliberation as to what to do with Rey next. She's a most valuable cinematic asset in some ways, maybe the only one Star Wars has right now. Wow, do I disagree with that statement? said one insider to The Hollywood Reporter. The report also goes on to mention that the character is set to play a role in, quote, several movies that are currently being developed, although it is unknown exactly which films this is in reference to. The article goes on to say in 2023, it was announced that director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy was directing a movie set after the events of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker that would feature Ridley's Rey as she builds a new Jedi Order. Stephen Knight has also been tapped to write the film, though he dropped out of the project last month. As of now, the last Star Wars film released in theaters was also 2019's Rise of Skywalker. The film grossed over $1 billion at the worldwide box office, but the final installment in the sequel trilogy was the lowest grossing and received mixed reviews from fans and critics. Last week, a report noted that Simon Kinberg, who's best known for writing and producing films like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Jumper, and a number of 20th Century Fox X-Men films, will write all three films and produce them alongside Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy. An earlier report from Deadline notes that the projects will likely be a continuation of the Skywalker saga, with episodes 10 through 12 in the long-running story. However, reports from THR and other outlets have noted these films will not be set in the Skywalker saga and will instead feature entirely new characters and a brand new story. Okay, look, nothing against Daisy Ridley. She's a fine actress. I don't like the character of Rey Skywalker. I'm a Palpatine because reasons. And let me tell you a story. There was a guy several years ago that a friend of mine was dating, and this guy was dumber than a sack of fucking potatoes. And his reasoning why Rey Skywalker was the most powerful Jedi was because she was hot. I'm just going to let that percolate in your mind for a minute. That was his entire reasoning. Now, there are powerful female Jedis. Ahsoka, Mara Jade, Jaina Skywalker, Jaina Solo, Nomi Sunrider. There's so many characters from Star Wars Legends that are incredibly powerful. And even like Ahsoka just had her own series, when I hope they greenlight season 2 so we find out what the fuck's going on there. But yeah, there are female Jedi characters that are awesome. You know what would make me really happy? I want John Boyega to get another swing at this, but I know he won't, which sucks. I wanted the Stormtrooper. I wanted Kyle Katarn with the serial numbers filed off. That's what I wanted. Finn's story would have been amazing. Even if it was just for one movie, we could have done something. I mean, if I had my way, if I was going to make these things, my long-running pitch, if I'm not going to get my Halo ODST series, because let's face it, that's not coming back anytime soon, give me Star Wars Band of Brothers. Give me a clone commando unit during the Clone Wars, and show me the behind-the-scenes of the CIS, the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Show me the war with the droids, the clankers, the banking clan. Show me why wasn't the Republic well liked. Give me the war stories that I want to see. Hell, give me the girl who was supposed to do... Fuck, I can't remember her name. Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins. Give me that Rogue Squadron movie we were talking about forever. Give me that. I mean, you could retool what's her face was going to be in not Knights of the Republic, Rangers of the New Republic. Now that, what's her face is canceled and she sucks anyway. Retool that idea. Hell, give the guy from something convenience, Dave Kim, whatever his fucking name is. Give me that. Give me Trapper Wolf series. I don't know. I mean, we're already going to get Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, you might as well give us the parts of the new trilogy that we really like. And like I said, it is nothing against Daisy Ridley, but I think the character of Rey Skywalker is flawed as hell. Like, there's a really good analysis of this over at Retro Blasting, which is one of my favorite channels on YouTube. By the way, Michael French, I think his analyses are really well done. They really make you think. And don't fuck with that guy. Intellectual sniper rifle is what I would call that guy. But yeah, like, he doesn't suffer fools. But when it comes to Star Wars, I've never met a person more passionate, and a guy who really gets the original trilogy, and a guy who respects Star Wars Legends. So I don't know. I mean, I want more Star Wars. I don't want lame Star Wars. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But there we go, inside of a nutshell. All right. Our next story, this one kind of surprised me. So this one comes courtesy of BloodyDisgusting.com. Finn Wolfhard and Jason Reitman remaking the 1990s horror movie Idle Hands. Rodman Flender's 1990 horror comedies Idle Hands is getting a remake with Finn Wolfhard, the guy from Stranger Things, attached to write and possibly co-direct the upcoming movie. Variety reports that Finn Wolfhard and his hell of a summer collaborator Billy Brake, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, will be co-writing the movie, and it's possible the duo may also end up directing. Wolfhard just made his directorial debut with the slasher Hell of a Summer, which is being released in 2025. Jason Reitman, Ghostbusters Afterlife, will produce the Sony Pictures remake, Idle Hands. Reitman is producing alongside Jennifer Todd and Suzanne Todd via their team. Todd Banner, Gil Keenan will also produce, while Maya Iyer is overseeing the project at Sony. In Idle Hands, Anton Tobias, Devon Sawa is a channel-surfing junk food munching couch potato burnout who can't control the murderous impulses of his recently possessed hand. With the help of his zombified buddies Seth Greens and Punub Eldon Henson, Anton's got to stop the rampaging devil appendage before it takes total control of his life and ruins any chances he has with the class hottie, Jessica Alba. According to Variety, Wolfhard and Brick are, quote, committed to breathing new life into the teen movie and keeping it authentic to the demographic. Stay tuned for more. I think that'd be fucking awesome. I really liked Idle Hands. Hell, one of my favorite memories is with Seth Green as the zombie grabs a hold of the carving knife. He's like, I'm Leatherface! And, you know, it's a fun movie. I think a remake or a sequel, yeah, I could really see that working. Hell, I could even see a small limited series out of that if I was going to pitch it to like Shudder or something. And hey, Devon Sawa's got time for work because he's not exactly working on Chucky right now. So yeah, I think that would be really, really fantastic. I'd really like to see what happens with this. But yeah, I guess we're going to have to kind of wait and see. So we're going to take a break here on This Week in Geek. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at what happened around the world this week in terms of weird news. And we're going to take a look at a video game that came out around Halloween, oddly enough. And I think this is something you should definitely be adding to your holiday gift guides, because I had a lot of fun with this. So we'll be back, guys, right after this, only on thisweekingeek.net.
I kill demons, not people.
Bullshit!
Unless those people are demons who look like people. And then I kill people.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to talk about something really cool we got sent over for holiday gift guide consideration. I was supposed to cover this closer to Halloween, but life happened. But I'm really glad that I dived into this. So I'm going to be talking about a pair of games, but they're in one package. This is the Boss Team Games and WayForge RetroRealms. So this is two Mega Man style, like, platforming side-scrollers based upon Halloween and Ash vs. Evil Dead. And that sounds kind of weird, but follow me here. Literally, if you want to play as Ash fighting through Grove Hill Sanitarium from, you know, Halloween, or have Laurie Strode go through, you know, the worlds of Evil Dead, you can do that. But you can also get, like, other characters. You get Kelly, and you get other characters from the Ash vs. Evil Dead world. It's surprisingly fun, and it's done in like this like 16-bit style graphics. I mean, I know that's become really popular in the last couple of years, and normally these type of games I tend not to play because they're really, really, really hard. But with the right IP, I tend to dive right into it. So last night I started kind of playing through this. I immediately went to playing Laurie Strode in Evil Dead. So I'm thinking, all right, that's weird. And she wields like a knitting needle like she did in the 1978 Halloween, but she wields it kind of like a sai from like the like Ninja Turtles. It's stupid fun. And you can also like switch between worlds. You get sub weapons. It's surprisingly well done. There's also like little cutscenes. They're not like voiced or anything, but incredibly cool artwork there. You can use currency in the game to buy like all sorts of like different moves and upgrades and stuff like that. It's surprisingly neat. There's a lot of replay value here, considering you get like four playable characters between the two games. You can mix and match, and the game adapts to it. Like if you start in in Ash vs. Evil Dead with Laurie, it's like, oh, we still have young Tommy. We are going to destroy him. Or if you start in Halloween with Ash, you're locked up in the sanitarium. He's like, this big deadite dude's like, oh, Ashley, you thought you could destroy us, could you? Ha ha ha. And it's cool. But the thing that really impressed me about this, so when you open the game, you come out to this arcade, and you can wander around, and there's like different collectibles you can gather in the game. Like you can gather tickets that you can like, hey, here's Michael Myers' mask. Here's Kelly's meat hammer from Ash vs. Evil Dead. Here's, Ash's chainsaw. There's like these little dioramas you can build. There's these little video interviews. That I did not expect and was really, really pleasantly surprised. So it's a full package. You get 2 games, a lot of replayability, and it's honestly a lot cooler than I thought it was going to be. As much as I wanted to cover this for Halloween, I'm kind of glad that I waited. This was a really fun experience, and I'm looking forward to going back and, well, not getting my ass kicked in this, but seriously, RetroRealms is most absolutely worth your time. So the team over at Boss Team Games and Way Forward did a phenomenal job for this, guys. Please ask for this for Christmas. I don't think you're going to be disappointed, as you can fight the shape and you can do it with style and panache with a chainsaw and a shotgun. I think you're really going to dig this. So be sure to check that out. It is definitely going to be on my holiday wish list.
Was the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass
Hey guys, welcome back to This Week in Geek.net. I am still your host, Mike the Birdman. I am still here solo. Or am I? You don't know. There's multiple voices in my head, and for some reason I really wanted to sing Randy Orton's Voices in My Head song. It's been a long day. Anyway, guys, let's break it down across the weird news that happened across the big blue marble this past week. And this story comes courtesy of NBCNews.com. The Onion, that's right, the parody website, has won Alex Jones's InfoWars in a bankruptcy option. The satirical news company plans to shutter Jones's InfoWars and rebuild the website featuring well-known internet humor writers and content creators, according to a person with knowledge of the acquisition. The Onion, the satirical news company that repeatedly spoofed conspiracy theories, Alex Jones has won the bankruptcy option for control over his media empire, most notably InfoWars, the far-right conspiracy-minded website that served as Jones's primary platform. Jones announced the sale on X on Thursday morning. Quote, I just got word 15 minutes ago that my lawyers and folks met with the U.S. trustee over bankruptcy this morning, and they said they're shutting us down without a court order this morning, Jones said. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to be here until they come in and turn the lights off, he added. The Onion plans to shutter Jones's InfoWars and rebuild the website featuring well-known internet humor writers and content creators, according to a person with knowledge of the sale. About an hour and a half after the announcement of the sales, InfoWars website was shut down. Attorneys for the First United American Companies, which was named as a backup bidder in the auction, filed a request Thursday to seek an immediate court order meeting about the Onion's win, claiming there were changing procedures, lack of transparency, and inaccurate disclosures to interested bidders. The group said there was urgency because the value of the assets is in the process of being destroyed at this very minute. Jones, 50, one of the most high-profile and financially successful alternative media personalities, built a small empire of a radio show turned internet video operations centered around the InfoWars brand that focus on false and often bizarre claims about grand conspiracies and government wrongdoing. Details of Wednesday's auction included how much was offered for free speech systems. The parent company of InfoWars and related assets was not immediately known. Funds generated from the sale are means to satisfy Jones's estate creditors, largely the families of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, to whom he must pay in defamation verdicts. Sandy Hook families filed lawsuits in Connecticut and Texas, claiming Jones defamed them on his show inflicted emotional distress by repeatedly suggesting the shooting, in which a gunman killed 20 first-grade children and 6 adults, was a hoax. Juries found that Jones was liable for defamation and awarded the families nearly $1.5 billion in total lawsuits, but they were unable to collect anything from Jones, which he claimed he hasn't been able to afford the massive sum. He filed for bankruptcy in late 2022, and a judge in June allowed him to liquidate his personal assets to help pay off the verdicts. The sale had the backing of several Connecticut families of the Sandy Hook shooting who were also a part of the lawsuit. Quote, our clients knew that true accountability meant an end to InfoWars and an end to Jones's ability to spread lies, pain, and fear at scale. Chris Mattei, attorney for the Connecticut families, said in a statement, by divesting Jones of InfoWars' assets, the families and the team at The Onion have done a public service and will meaningfully hinder Jones's ability to do more harm. The anti-violence organization Everytown for Gun Safety said it will be the exclusive advertiser in The Onion's new venue as part of a multi-year agreement. John Fenblatt, the group's president, said in a statement he hopes to reach new audiences ready to hold the gun industry accountable for contributing for our nation's gun violence epidemic. Since April, The Onion has been led by Chief Executive Ben Collins, who previously covered disinformation and conspiracy theories for NBC News, a beat that often meant covering Jones. Collins had introduced several changes meant to monetize the business, including subscriptions, organized live events, and bringing back physical copies of the paper and its television parody, The Onion News Network. In June, Collins answered calls from followers online that The Onion purchased InfoLores with a meme looking into it. Those interested in acquiring Jones's media company had submitted their final offers to federal court-appointed trustee Christopher Murray, who was tasked with picking the best bid, but not necessarily the highest. The identities of potential buyers were secret, as they had to agree to a non-disclosure agreements in order to receive bid materials. The auction firms running the sale said that there were no restrictions on use of the acquired property in the bankruptcy order, and the winner has the choice of whether to continue InfoWars operations. On his show this week, amid pleas for listeners to buy subscriptions and nutritional supplements he sells, Jones painted a picture of his potential buyers, describing one group of anonymous bidders as friendly backers who would allow his show to operate as normal. Others, he said, were, quote, bad guys who would shut InfoWars down. While he said it would continue to broadcast via alternative channel if ordered to shutter by a new buyer, Jones noted he would be hampered by the loss of his brand website and equipment and other necessities. All of you leftists celebrating the end of Alex Jones and InfoWars, you're fools, he said, just watch. Up for grabs for InfoWars auction production rights, materials, the InfoWars stores, domain names, production equipment, and other assets, including a Teradyne armored truck, a Winnebago home that can be purchased in their entirety or in parts, according to the firm. 3-6 Assets Advisor, Jones broadcast from Austin, Texas area. The auction is part of Murray's, quote, orderly wind-down process under the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of Texas, which has ordered the latest phase of the case against Jones, stemming from the Sandy Hook massacre in Newtown, Connecticut. In a fitting form for the satirical website, The Onion's new release announcing the sale was written in the voice of CEO Global Tetrahedron, a fictional evil company created by the Onion staff. Former tech executive Jeff Lawson took the name of Global Tetrahedron for his real company that acquired from The Onion from Geo Media in April. Through it all, InfoWars has shown an unwavering commitment to manufacturing anger and radicalizing the most vulnerable members of society, values that resonate deeply within all of us at Global Tetrahedron, the release said. Jones has founded InfoWars, operates under Free Speech Systems. In 1999, the company itself held about $6 million in cash, $1.2 million in inventory, according to previous court filings from June. The families in Texas and Connecticut have been spared in court over the liquidation assets, which over concerns how money will be distributed. Still, they have Jones's loss of the company brings some accountability for his past words. At his trial in June, Texas in 2022, Jones generally blamed, quote, corporate media for twisting his words and misportraying him, but specifically didn't know how. While Jones also testified that he believes Sandy Hook was 100% real, he used his ongoing litigation to galvanize his listeners as he faces the loss of InfoWars. Alex Jones is a piece of shit, and this couldn't have happened to a better person. There was a really good video. I want to say it was like an H-Bomber guy video, and that guy, sure, he puts out a video like once a year, but it's fucking event viewing. And it really went into just how much of a psycho Alex Jones is. I want to say I knew someone who was into this guy once upon a time in my life. I can't remember. I know I've seen And I know I've used clips from his show because it was funny where he's like, bzz, 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 InfoWars, tinfoil hat, and, you know, he's a big, giant idiot. And then, obviously, when all the legal proceedings happened a couple of years ago and whatnot, yeah, so it was just one of those things where he was just like, I'm a weirdo and I'm going to take advantage of people, so yikes. Yeah, it's just... I'm glad The Onion got it, because really, if they put like the effort that they typically do, if they use all this to really take a shot across this guy's bow, they could really do some really funny stuff to all this. And, you know, I hope all his garbage supplements end up, I don't know, maybe they should get the people from Will It Blend and get them together if, like, they're still around. Like, I can only imagine what the inevitable Netflix series for all this is going to look like. But yeah, and just to see Alex Jones like pop up on Twitter and he's like crying, he's like, they're gonna take everything. Like, yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have been a piece of shit, dude. Like, you're a horrible person. People, like, I know we don't get too political on this show. I mean, it's pretty obvious which pardon me, it's pretty obvious which way me and Alex lean, and to say nothing of what happened in the U.S. last week, because we're just, if you know, you know. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of years, to say the least, and I know I'm really downplaying that, but at least this was a victory, I feel, for the good guys. But yeah, so moving on to much lighter topics right now. So this story comes courtesy of comicbook.com. Nintendo warns Switch owners not to get dog pee on their consoles. I would think that's a given, but hey, what do I know? Nintendo has released a strange, albeit appropriate warning to Switch owners, urging them not to let dog pee get on their console. More so than its competition at PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo has always been known for having a bit of a personality as a company. This is seen not only as its various Nintendo Direct presentations, but also on social media, where some of its biggest announcements begin with overt declarations like, "This is Miyamoto." Now, Nintendo has continued this trend of moving to the beat of its own drum in a hilarious new public service announcement. In a recent message posted to one of its Japanese X accounts, Twitter, Nintendo informed Switch owners of the harm that dogs can cause the hardware. Nintendo shared extensive detail on this topic and let fans know that they should not get dog pee or saliva, on the Switch, as it could cause the device to malfunction. To further get this point across, it posted an image of a cartoon dog chewing on a pair of Joy-Cons. To conclude, Nintendo urged Switch fans to keep the platform out of dogs' reach so they don't suffer a cruel, urine-ridden fate. When you take your eyes off it, your pet turns your Nintendo Switch into a toy. The message reads, by the time you notice it's already covered in drool, pet saliva, and urine can cause your device to malfunction due to water exposure. If you have pets, be careful about where you place your Switch. This PSA from Nintendo definitely a bit bizarre to come see from a corporation of its stature, but is also a sentiment that I can get behind as someone who has purchased a lot of secondhand video game consoles and accessories over the past few years. I'm always shocked to see how many contain bite marks that clearly came from dogs. Video games are expensive, especially those on Nintendo platforms, so be sure to take care of them. Also, does your dog pee on your Switch when you can just resort to the tried and true method of submerging the Switch in a bag of rice, just to be sure to wipe it down with a Clorox wipe or two before going back to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? I've seen some pretty weird stuff over the course of my career in media. I haven't seen a dog pee on a console. I have seen very strange things come out of computer cases. I have seen smoke damage like you wouldn't believe on some old Nintendo consoles. I know my grandmother, when she was alive, she used to have an original Nintendo, and just the tar damage that she did to her Nintendo was so extensive. It was literally in the plastic. Now, I kind of wish, as a curiosity, there are some YouTube channels out there that basically they will take an old console. I see this with a lot of old guns, but I also see it with a lot of old electronics, where they'll literally take it apart piece by piece, clean it, replace as much as they can to try and get it back to factory or back to as best working order as it possibly physically can be. And I've actually been astounded by some of the results that can be accomplished when you really set down and get to it. Like, you can do some phenomenal stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty gross. Don't let your dog pee on stuff. There's only one person I know who this might actually be a legitimate PSA. Mostly because her dog is very, very, very dumb. Nice dog, but dumb as a sack of hammers. So yeah, don't let your dog eat your Switch. Just not good. So this story I got courtesy of NBCnews.com, and a man has been arrested in a killing that was falsely blamed on a bear. The 911 call about an aggressive bear was fake, and the injuries to the body found by authorities responded to it weren't caused by a bear, officials said. A man accused of murder after a 911 call about a fake bear attack in the mountains of Tennessee led authorities to a dead man last month who's been found and arrested, police said on Sunday. The arrest of Nicholas Wayne Hamlet, 45, in Columbia, South Carolina, ends a manhunt that was launched after the call on late October 18th to 911 dispatchers in Monroe County. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office said it was informed Sunday that Hamlet, whom had sought on a first-degree murder warrant, was found and arrested in South Carolina. The sharing of Hamlet's wanted poster led the public, who is our most valuable resource, to act as eyes and ears. Monroe County Sheriff Tommy J. Jones said. Tommy J. Jones II said in a statement, the case began when a man claiming to be Brandon Andrade called 911 and claimed that was injured after he was chased by a bear and fell off a cliff. Authorities said the call was pinged in the area of the Charles Hall Bridge in the Kalahora Skyway, Telco Plains, a small mountain town in Tennessee with a population of about 800 people. A body was found with an ID of Brandon Christopher Andrade, but it wasn't him. Andrade's identity had been stolen and used multiple times, the sheriff's office said. The person was also not killed by a bear. One of the detectives laid eyes on the body, and the injuries of the deceased and were not consistent with a bear attack. It was not consistent with a fall, Jones said in a news conference last month. The cause of death was found to be blunt force trauma to the head, he said. It was very easy to rule out, Jones said. A first-degree murder warrant was obtained against Hamlet after investigators determined that Hamlet, who was also wanted on a parole violation out of Alabama, had been using the stolen identification before the body was found. The dead man was later identified as Stephen Douglas Lloyd, 34, who authorities had said Hamlet had befriended during the summer. NBC affiliate WBIR of Knoxville reported Hamlet was arrested in South Carolina after a hospital employee recognized him and alerted authorities. Columbia police said fingerprints confirmed his identity. Hamlet was in custody on Sunday, and arrangements were made to extradite him to Tennessee, Columbia police said. It was not clear whether Hamlet had an attorney who could speak on his behalf. His case did not appear to be available online in the Monroe County Court records as of Monday. Weirdly enough, this is the second time a bear has popped up in local news feeds. There was a guy, this couple, and I want to say California, had tried to blame an insurance fraud case on a bear. Long story short, they had somebody dress up in a bear costume, trash their Rolls Royce, and tried to pass off video footage as like, oh yeah, it was totally a bear that trashed my car. Can I have money now, please? But no, it was a guy in a bear costume with like salad tongs that trashed the car because it tore up the interior. And if you've ever had your car trashed by a bear, and I'm sure there's at least one of you out there, that's why they tell you don't leave food in your cars. Bears can and will fuck it up. But this is just so bizarre. Like, they try and blame it on a bear. Like, clearly blunt force trauma. Like, I don't know, maybe throw the body off a cliff or something, but blunt force trauma, because, again, like, something like this, like, you're not going to Mythbusters your way out of this. You're not going to CSI your way out of professionals. People are stupid, and stupider than you give them credit for. So, sorry, Professor Moriarty, you are not. You are more like Snidely Whiplash or whatever his friggin' name from like Hanna-Barbera. You're not going to pull off this crime of the century trying to sing, tee-hee, I got away with murder. We live in a very strange timeline, folks, and I can only tell it's going to get more and more bizarre as time goes on. So aren't you looking forward to the next ever? I know I am. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of the Nerd News Network and the Weird News. Only on This Week in Geek, I got one more review for you. And this one involves summoning the juice or the ghost with the most. We will be back, guys, right after this. Only on thisweekingeek.net.
mom grew up here. That old house on the hill.
Wait, the ghost house? Is your mom Lydia Dietz?
Unfortunately.
She's a legend.
The living, the dead. Can they coexist?
Now's my chance.
Ghosts aren't real. Only gullible people believe that kind of crap.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I've got something to talk about from our friends over at Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. I'm going to be talking about the 4K Ultra HD plus digital code of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the long-awaited sequel to the 1980s classic about a fun little demon who decides to wreak havoc upon people and their lives, most namely Lydia Dietz and her family. And this sequel picks up after the death of the family's father, and they all return to, I think it's Winter River, to deal with his affairs and sell the house, and hilarity ensues with Lydia and her young daughter, and somehow Beetlejuice gets involved, and then Beetlejuice has to deal with a vengeful ex-wife, and it's kind of a muddled plot if I'm going to be really genuinely honest about it. The movie itself, I've seen this movie like 2 or 3 times now. It does get a little better on subsequent viewings. My main problem is it feels very disjointed. This doesn't feel like this has been a Beetlejuice sequel that's been around for a long time. Like, it feels like it was written fairly recently, and that may just be the inner creative writer in me. But the thing that I like about this movie is there's not a bad performance in it. It just doesn't feel like it's the right performance, if that makes any sense. Like, the weakest part about this entire movie, it's the script itself, the story. If it had chosen to focus on the threat that the ex-wife had presented, the soul-sucking demon of Dolores, great, cool, now we've got something. Or if it had chosen to focus on the twist character, which I'm not going to reveal too much about that, again, would have been fantastic. It is still primarily Lydia's story, which is great, and I'm glad they've kind of got closure on that, which is what I wanted. But I wanted more, all things considered. And they do leave the door open for a third movie, which, if you're going to do it sooner rather than later, while Michael Keaton can still do all the wackiness and the physicality that's needed for this. And honestly, he's a great Beetlejuice still. He's funny, he's got the energy, he's got the just the energy to really bring the performance to life, and it's really funny to see him do his gags. Like, that's the best part about this. The afterlife still looks weird and fucked up, as it ever has, thanks to Tim Burton. Where this disc, though, really shines, this is how you do special features. There's like a making of that's like 25 minutes. I think the shortest one of these is at the very least 7 minutes, but most of these are about 10 to 15 minutes, and there's a lot of them. There's a commentary. Honestly, this is probably one of the better discs I've looked at this year in terms of content as to what you're actually getting, and I think that's what really sells me to a lot of discs, as I've done previously here on the show, is if you put a lot of effort in the special features, that's what sells physical media, because you want to get the stuff that you can't get anywhere else. And since we don't have HBO Max in Canada, we don't get that, right? And you're just not getting this anywhere else. So, do I recommend Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Well, if you like the movie, this is a pretty easy pickup. If you didn't like the movie, is there a lot here to sell you on it? I'm going to say maybe, maybe not. It kind of depends. If you're a stickler for getting this in the best visual quality, then yeah, this looks fantastic. But if you want something that really gives you insight into how this all came together, then yeah, it does have a lot to offer from that perspective as well. Ultimately, I would call this a disc for super fans only. Maybe if there's a box set that comes out and you can get this with the first movie, maybe there's something to be said there if they're adding more special features, maybe cool packaging like a handbook for the recently deceased box set or something. Maybe that's an idea. Warner Brothers, I know you're listening to this right now. There's options for that. So Beetlejuice, I'm going to recommend the super fans only, but I am going to say it is one of the better discs I've looked at this year in terms of special features, and that's definitely something that should definitely be noticed from us here at thisweekingeek.net.
You're that thing from my dream. Really more nightmare material.
Confronting the unknown, conquering your fears. There's nothing harder.
What the f?
All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for this edition of This Week in Geek. I'm pretty sure Alex is going to be back next week. As for programming that's coming up on the site, I'm not entirely sure. I am recording some stuff with Dave and Ken over the next couple of weeks. Definitely recording this week. I just don't know when it's coming out. I know we're starting to get a lot of stuff prepped for Holiday Gift Guide. I know Alex was talking with me today saying, hey, I've been sick, but I've been doing some stuff in the background, so hopefully we'll have things ready to go whenever that comes out. I'm still communicating with a few of our partners that are out there. I've sent out a lot of games to friends that I want them to say, hey, do you recommend this? That's sort of my barometer sort of thing. Hey, if I can give it as a gift, what do you think? And then obviously Alex or I have reviewed it over the course of the last year, and then we take a look at it as well to see what we think. Obviously we've got some toys and stuff like that coming up. I know we'll have some Earth versus Soups. We probably got some loose cannons. I know for Future Imperfect. I've pitched a lot of ideas to the boys in the next little bit, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. I do need to do some stuff for my Patreon, so if you guys want to sign up for the free thing, that would really help me out. I got to probably record some podcasts over there in the next week or two. I just got to get some writing done. Like I said, I am working on some stuff for Enrique for Weekly Spooky for Christmas, so hopefully I'll have something for that done. I might have a New Year's story done. I've been trying to finish it for like ever. I don't have an ending, so. But anyway, a lot of good stuff to do. I'm doing an interview tonight, which you should be. I'll post about that, or I'll be able to talk about it next week. I'm not sure when it's coming out. And then I'll be talking about Star Trek. Can't say much more beyond that, but that's what I can say as far as I understand. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for me this week. Once again, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, actually, that's something I should probably address. So at the end of the year, I'm primarily going to be moving off of Twitter. I'm going to leave my Twitter page up as something static, and I will primarily be over on Instagram and Blue Sky. Which my name over on Blue Sky is Birdman Guelph. If you want to find me over there, my link is on my Twitter profile right now. I haven't used TikTok in a really long time. I know we were supposed to talk about this a couple weeks ago, and I think I talked about it last week, about the TikTok and the privacy thing. It's just a lot for me to do, so I'm not sure whether I'll be posting much at TikTok for a while. So... yeah, but either way, I'll always keep up the text-based stuff there. Threads is built into Instagram anyway. I don't really use a lot of it. And for some reason, it's a lot of porn bots, but whatever, I guess. But yeah, so that's going to be that. I mean, we'll probably still have a Twitter presence in way of the show. So you can, if you happen to follow the show that way, that'll probably keep going. But I'm primarily going to be moving off of Twitter because Elon Musk sucks. So anyway, hope you guys will have a fantastic week. Hopefully we're going to be back to regular programming beginning next week. And looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Like I said, if you guys send some love to Alex on Twitter or on Facebook, if you want to send him an email, feedback at thisweekingeek.net or Alex at thisweekingeek.net, let him know that you are thinking about him. I'm sure he would really appreciate some gentle words of encouragement along with some saltine crackers. So guys, until next time, I have been Mike the Birdman saying be excellent to each other. I know American Thanksgiving is coming up, so we will be back next week with a Thanksgiving show, and I think Alex is working on a holiday gift guide. So until next time, guys, be excellent to each other. I'll catch you guys again next time, right here on thisweekingeek.net.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.